Hey, Enlighten. They're going to cheat. I'll use my Android. Let me mute his TV so I won't have the dabbling echo back. Hey, Roger. Okay, I can't promise y'all nothing, but y'all welcome to come here and chat till Tommy and them gets back or whoever else pops on. I don't have the best connection at all, so. What's up, Voodoo? Need to find me a stand or something for this dabbling, oh, what you call it, this Android here. I'll try a couple things, guys, and probably help the chat a little bit better. Oh, wait a minute, I don't have to do that cause, yeah, I'm using the Android, not my PC. Yeah, I tried to post something too there in Lightning, and also too in Lightning. I went back to it, and all I got was just a straight YouTube page. There was nothing there to, oh, what you say? Nothing there to open up like what we did earlier today. I find something to hold this up to where I'm looking more human. I know y'all don't want to be sitting there looking at my damn chin all day long. Y'all want to check out my radio equipment? There we go. Let me see if I can't switch this around where you guys can see it. There we go. That's a very rare radio up there. It's a 148 FGTL DX Plus. And it has, that's my 10 meter radio. It's the same thing as what they call a Ranger 2970. And here's my 10 meter radio, the Galaxy DX 2517. And there's my 2 meter 446 meter radio right there, ham radio. And there's my ham held radio. And then when I need it to get out further, there's my Superstar 250. That's pushing out 300 watts. Yeah, and Lightning, that one right there, that's his base station here. Okay, there we go. Let me refresh this one here. No, the signal didn't jam the Wi-Fi in Lightning. What happened, hey Stone, what happened was I hit the power button on this daggum Android. I'm not used to it yet. And I hit the power button on it and shut it off. See if I can't catch up with you guys. Yeah, as a matter of fact, there, Voodoo, when growing up, Radio Shack used to put out these little tiny radios that you put on your bicycle. They had one channel on them, and it was channel 14. I used to have one with a little antenna on it, riding around on my bicycle and everything when I was younger, talking to some of the local truck drivers around the neighborhood and stuff when they'd come through. And so my dad, he got me a license. Back then, you were supposed, for CB radios back in the 70s, you were supposed to have a license. But you don't have to have them. Now you don't have to have them. Hey, Great American. I've got for my 11 meter radio, I use a Cobra 148 GTL DX Plus. It's a very rare radio. There was only 500 made of them for Cobra. Ranger made the radio, and it's the same thing as a Ranger 2970. And then for a base station, I've got a Galaxy DX 2517. I've got the stuff to where I can convert that one 10 and 11 meter, but I just ain't had the time to mess with it. Plus, I've got to get meters. Hey, Myra. Plus, I got to get the meters to where I can line everything back up when I add the kit to it. And then I've got a B-Tech 5001 UVR, which is a 2 meter 440 radio. I don't have it in the house, but I've got a 6 meter. It's an old Midland radio. I've got it out in the camper. And then I've got a Wooson 2 meter 440 radio, handheld. Plus, Great American, also too, behind the, I don't need it, but I use it every now and then if I have to. Behind the Cobra, I've got a, what was that? Superstar 250 that's been upgraded, that pushes out 300 watts. Yeah, and Lightning, I've been messing with this stuff, shit, since I was like I said, about 7, 8 years old. Started talking on a little channel 14 with one little channel radio. My dad got me my license. Matter of fact, when I turned 9, and it was license number was KZZA 2021. As a matter of fact, and you don't need them anymore. Yep, I sure do. Call sign is KM4DON. KMC 1598. Where you at, Great American? Yeah, yep. Yeah, I don't know how I winded up with a 4-digit on the force. My dad, he was 3 digits. I guess it might have been by age. 'Cause like I said, mine was KZZA 2021. And hey, Kevin, good to see you guys. I'm doing pretty good. A little sluggish today. Feel a little slow, but enough to get up and I made me a hey Cajun, and get up to make me my first homemade banana pudding with homemade meringue on top of it. Oh yeah, and Lightning, if I sat there long enough and tried long enough, and I've got my antenna there. If you look at my last video where I went to the doctor there, get blood work up, I showed my antenna, and if I would have turned that beam up towards Canada where that guy was coming in from, he'd been able to hear me with no problem. You know, there for a while, Voodoo, I had a, it was a 97 Buick. Oh, I don't know what it was. It looked like a cop car. And just for the heck of it, I went part-time delivering pizzas, and I had antennas on it with my 2-meter radio in there. One time I had it on scan, and the local police department came in, and this place where I was delivering at, they kept trying to get me to come into the house, and I told them I couldn't. And I've got blue eyes, and when the sun's people with blue eyes, you'll know what I'm talking about. When the sun's real bright and hits on something white, it almost blinded you. Got to have sunglasses on. And I didn't have no sunglasses on, and standing there, and the side of their mobile home was white, and they kept trying to get me to come inside, you know. And I told them I wasn't going to do that. I told them they got to excuse me. I says, while I'm blinking and everything, I told them, I says, I work 2 jobs, and this is my daytime job. And about that time, that 2-meter radio went off, and I had the door open, and they could hear the police department where I had the radio scanning and listening. So I had the frequency clock logged in for the Mount Airy Police Department. They heard that. Every one of them freaked out, and that dude signed the ticket for for the credit card and gave me rest in cash, and told me to grab the pizzas, and told me I had a good day, and shut the door. When I got back to the shop, heck, I made a $30 tip. They thought I was a popo. Roger, did you get to see that Strat? Hey, Robert. Roger, did you get to see that Stratocaster that I built, showed the other day? Yeah, and like 1984 Trans Am that had a 305 in it. We pulled it out, punched it to a 360, put a 460 roller lift in it, put CNC competition heads on it, shaved 100 thousandths with Corella 12 to 1 rods and pistons, pop up, all weighted. Had dual 850 double pumpers on top, cowl induction hood, had a 700R turbo transmission in it, stage 2 shift kit in it, 1900 stall, and a 377 posi rear end. Yeah, I had that, and then I used to drive a sprint car. I used to have a sprint car. I used to race around the 10 southern states with the American Winged Outlaws. Back in that day, they was the 360, 360 division of the World of Outlaws. That was it in Lightning. That was it with that car, gas station to gas station. There you go, Roger. 1984 Signature Series. Fender Strat. Yeah, on the sprint car, it's a direct drive. There is no transmission. You put gears in the rear end of it depending on the size of the track. And all that 850 horsepower that you got, as soon as you step on that gas pedal, it's direct to that rear end. Hey Chad, welcome to the room. Wish I had my amp in here. I'd hook that all up and y'all hear some metal. You know, Blue, I haven't done that in years. I'd have to sit down and figure it all over again. Y'all gonna make me have to go out there and get my amp, and then my wife's gonna kick my butt because there ain't no way to turn that dad blame thing down. It's a Spider 212 100 watt amp. But I do have my foot pedal in here. I could hook it up through the computer, the other computer, and play it. Yeah, line 6B, man. Yeah. You know, and I got one heck of a deal on that thing. When we moved in this house, we had a high definition TV, but it was the tube type. So I was looking for some flat screens, and I found a pawn shop that had these TVs, and went up there and bought a TV. Got one for my son with a PlayStation for $200. And I seen this amp sitting there. The guy had $98 on it, and then just, you know, I didn't think nothing of it, and I left, and that for a whole solid week that thing stayed on my mind. I went back and he had dropped it down another $10, and he sold it to me for $89. I brought it home to find out that it was a line 6 Spider 212 that still sells for $1,000, that I can go on the website and program, download the program, plug a Cat 5 cable in the front of it to my computer, and I can program any sound I want to in this amplifier. I'm going to try, Roger. I'm really going to try. It all depends on how the chemo and the radiation goes. I've got 4 more treatments, and they're every 3 weeks apart. So hopefully I'll be done by then where I can, and I'm gonna bring it all out. No, I can play a steel guitar, BBM, but I've never tried it. Yeah. Oh, you mean on the amplifier? Yeah. Oh, heck yeah, it was. Well, this guitar that I built, it's a 1984 Roger Cray Signature Series, and I found the body and the neck at this music shop some kid was trying to fix up that had a flying V pick guard on the darn thing, and I seen the body and I seen how small the neck was for it, so I knew exactly what it was. It was a strap body, and I went and bought the body for $40. Uh, I found the neck. This neck's a 72 off of a 72 strap with a Floyd Rose locking system on it. I found it on eBay for I think $230, and this come off of a 74 Strat. This is American made, the Fender whammy bar. I got it for $7, and then I found the company that made the pick guard and everything for Fender. I went straight through that company. I got the pearl inlay pick guard with the dual humbuckers at the by the bridge instead of the single, and it was already pre-wired. Didn't have to do nothing to it. I think I give $17 for it through eBay from a Japanese company that makes these for Fender. And on the back of it, and the plate that came off of the same guitar that the bridge did, and I give $8 for the back pearl inlay plate and the Fender signature back plate. Then I had it appraised, and it's worth about $1,800. I hear you, Blue. Well, mine started off. It's right in here. It's right in here. Underneath this area right here on your body, you have a thymus gland, and that protects you from all your viruses, your flus, and everything else. Mine somehow got a defect in it, and it's turned into a cancer. And me and my cancer doctor thinking it might be something else, because as big as this thing is, they say they don't do much studies on it. They know it's a slow-growing cancer, and this thing, like I said, get my fingers right here. This thing is this big, and so it had to be there for a long time. And I've had plenty MRIs, X-rays, chest X-rays, and everything else, and they've never seen it until last year. And then they finally found it, and it's at stage 4. It's called a thymoma carcinoma. And after my first 6 rounds of chemo and radiation, they wind up burning on the back here, the back side of the left lung, an area about this long. Your lung has 2 skins to it, and in between it they've got a slime layer, that way they can move. Well, they wind up burning mine, and now that's turned into small cell cancer. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. And then my doctor asked me, she goes, "You need to quit smoking." I said, "What's the use for now? You know, the inside of my lungs are clear. The coughing that you hear me do is not coming from the inside of my lungs. It's caused because of this thymus gland is sitting on top of the nerves that goes to the lungs." And I've got some, as a matter of fact, I can't mention his name because of laws of copyrights, but he is a famous musician. He sent me a program for my computer, because I've got a computer that I've built that's got I use a Sound Blaster live card that's got a front live drive, and I can plug anything I want to in the front of this thing. But he sent me a link in the software for a recording studio program that's really, 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 really awesome. I'm trying to find it, see the name of it is. Oh, Pro Tools, and that's what he uses. And he told me to use that, and that the email I got from him, he told me to use that. And as soon as he's off tour and everything, I asked him if he could come by and help me finish up a song that I'm writing and everything else, that I'm stuck on it. You know, and he gave me that Pro Tools software to use it, and so I plan to do some music videos. Yeah, Roger, I didn't know that, buddy. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that, man. I know what you're going through. Yeah, B man, I'm still trying to work through it and get used to it. I used to use N-Track studio recorder. I used to use that one, and that one was I got used to that one. That one was pretty simple. But this Pro Tools, man, it's a whole new world. All I've got to do is just record one note, strum it, and then I could take the Pro Tools software and create a whole dab blame orchestra with it. And my son was born with asthma there, Roger. At least, well, yeah, he was up till the time he was 6 years old. The doctor got tired of him being sick every three times a year, so they finally sent him to an asthma doctor, and they tested him. And that poor kid, he was allergic to 13 different things down there in Florida. He had to take shots, for 2 years, you know, every other day, and he finally grew out of it. He gets his hay fevers now, and he gets I guess you call it recreation asthma, where he runs a lot and everything else. He has problems breathing. When he graduated high school, he was a sergeant in the ROTC, and they wouldn't. And he wanted to go into service so bad, but they wouldn't let him do it because of his asthma. Right, right. Well, Roger, there's three things that happens to us when we get older, don't you? First is you lose your memory, and I'll be damned if I know what the other two are. Thank you, enlightening. I appreciate that, buddy. I really do. I really, really do appreciate that. Yeah, right now I think 13's got 13 up, 10 in here now. That's the most I've had in my room since I've done the live chats. Well, y'all don't have to worry about dog lips because I've got him. I've blocked him. I've blocked Charles. So you don't have to worry about him coming in this room and starting any crap. No, Kevin. Dog, unless somebody comes in under a different name that Dog Lips has, that he won't come in my rooms because, like I said, I don't want all that drama crap in here, and there's some of them that get out there and argue and fight with him. I'm not the person to do that. I give up fighting years ago. It's like me and Voodoo was talking the other day. I lived with my uncle for a while, and he was a master sergeant in the Marine Corps, and he taught all the special forces the martial arts because he's a Korean Hapkido master. He taught me some stuff, and Voodoo asked me. He goes, "Well, I bet you know some stuff," and I told him, "Yeah, I do." But these days, Smith and Wesson does all my talking for me. I don't swing no fist no more. You get too old for that crap. What's that? What's that Toby Keith song? I ain't young as I used to be, or something like that. I ain't as young as I once was. No, Cajun, I'm in North Carolina. I am 15 miles or 15 minutes south of the Virginia state line, almost dead center of North Carolina. Matter of fact, in a 5-minute drive, I'll be sitting on 3,280 foot elevation above sea level. I'm 1820 here where I'm at. Actually, I'm actually a Florida native. I was born and raised in Florida, but I had moved away from there years ago. I was living in Minville, Tennessee, and went back to Florida on vacation, and that's where I met my wife. We lived down there for a little while till my son was about 9, 10 years old, and that was around 2000, 2010, I think. 2010. And her daughter had moved up here and married some. How far from Franklin, American? 2.5 hours north of Franklin. If you come up and catch 40, go 40 all the way over to 77, 77 north for about an hour. That's where I'm at. American, you know where Mount Airy is? Yeah, there you go, Kevin. Yeah, well, I'm 10 minutes north. I'm 10 minutes southwest of Mount Airy. Matter of fact, I'm 10 minutes south of Mount Airy. Is where I'm at. I'm in a little town that's called State Road. Why they named it that, I have not the slightest. But these hillbillies up here, I don't try to question them. Kevin, where's your brother live at? I used to drive a truck over the road and used to go through there a lot. I'm going up to Chicago. Roger, mine calls me Papa Ron. All right, Voodoo, you have a good one, buddy. Thanks for coming in. Like I said, nobody was opening up a chat room back there on Tommy, so I went ahead and opened this up. Thanks for coming in, brother. You have a good day. Kernersville's not far from me there, Kevin. He's not. That's not far from me at all. Matter of fact, I think it's about uh, Kernersville's about 30, 40 minutes southeast of me. I am for you NASCAR fans. I am 1 hour and 10 minutes south of Martinsville. I'm an hour and 20 minutes east of Bristol, and I'm an hour and 40 minutes north of Charlotte. And I'm an hour and 15 minutes just slightly northwest of where Dale Earnhardt Jr. lives. Yes, sir, I'm in the country. Yeah, Great American, that's about it. Yep, the heart of NASCAR. This is where NASCAR was created. And like I told Voodoo when he's talking about that moonshine, this is also the moonshine capital state. This is where it all started at. All them guys running moonshine around here, going south and everywhere else with it. All right, Cajun, you have a good one, hon. Thanks for coming in. You have a good day and a good night. So I'll get to talk to you the rest of the night. Yeah, I didn't know it till probably about. Hey, Earth Girl. Well, what's for dinner, hon? Oh, heck, everybody, let's go to Earth Girl's house. That's my weakness is pizza. I love pizza. I'm right there with Roger. Yeah, but Great American, I found out that North Carolina is not only the tobacco capital of the world, NASCAR and moonshine, it's also the sweet potato capital of the world. 90% of your 85% of your sweet potatoes come from here, believe it or not. And that surprised the heck out of me as hard as this soil is around here. I'm surprised that the corn and the tobacco grows good like it does. I had a friend of mine. They got a big garden east of us in a town called Dobson. They do a lot of agriculture stuff, farming like that for churches and food banks. And I kid you not, he gave me some sweet potatoes one day. I pulled this sweet potato out, Roger. That sucker would have fed at least 4 people. That dang thing was every bit of that big around, and it was about that long. One sweet potato they had grown. Hey Ben, what's going on, brother? A fat bald head. Yeah, we're gonna go to Earth Girl. She's making homemade pizza tonight. Yeah, we got some out there, Earth Girl. We got some tomatoes growing. I've got some Better Boys growing and some big colossals and everything, but they ain't ready to be picked full green tomatoes yet. As soon as they are, you bet your tail they're gonna be in there in that skillet. Roger, what I wind up doing with that thing is I wind up cutting it in 4 inch, 2.5 inch chunks, and I made French fries out of it. Yeah, made French fries out of it, and man, that thing was awesome. French fried sweet taters, yes sir. I hear you, Enlighten. Yeah, the only thing we done this year, Ben, was just tomatoes. I've got some. We got two different types of tomatoes out there. I've got some bell pepper going, and my wife, when it starts getting a little cooler, she's gonna do some lettuce. We didn't go heavy this year. No, I was seeing you earlier, Ben. I was watching your video there where they had where you was mudding that wall, and you here in the states they don't. The only time they do that is when there's a defect in the framing, and the wall is bowing in. I know what I'm talking about. That's the only time they really do that here. Other than that, when they do areas like that, we've got a paint here. It's called CPV. That they'll put two coats of that on it, and when you put the paint on it, you can't even. And the drywall guy's done a good job mudding the seams. I mean, it can come out looking like glass. Yeah, floating it out flat. Yeah, yeah, but they don't do that here no more since they came out with that CPV paint. Like I said, you could put one or two coatings over it, and it looks like. As a matter of fact, it looks like somebody had floated the wall. All right, Earth Girl. It is 7:17 here in Lighton. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, you see some. Well, it's like that Ewu crew when they was going through that neighborhood, showing that neighborhood and was. Because there for a short while, I did residential air conditioning, got out of commercial, and the M&I Home Prestige, the Lennar Presidential, and there was another company. All them houses were the same. The only difference was in them was the price. As a matter of fact, I needed just one blueprint to put the ductwork and the AC unit in each one of those houses. That was it. And I've seen a lot of those $200,000-300,000 homes built like that. That you know, there ain't no way in the world I'd pay that much for a house like that. Was that enlightened countdown to the munchies? You know what really sucks is enlightened. If I go get some of that homemade banana pudding that I made and start eating it right here. Hey, Runs. Yeah, they down there in Florida, that house booming came through, and that they just took over everything down there. As a matter of fact, my brother he fell into it, and he bought one of them Lennar homes. And I told him, I says, man, I said, save you about 100 grand and get the house next door. It's the same exact house, it's just a different name. He didn't do it. His wife wanted that one, so they bought it, and then with 1 year, that house was 320 something thousand when they bought it, and within 1 year, the value of the house dropped down to 160,000. And then they wind up 6 months after that turning that neighborhood into a Section 8 housing project. Run's Earth Girl took off. She's making homemade pizza for all of us tonight. Yeah, that's what I told him, American. I told him, I said, best thing for you to do is file bankruptcy and walk away. Well, he did that for a year, and the lending company uh, lending company turned right around after he filed the bankruptcy on it. Walked away from the house. He was only away from it for 4 months, but the lending company called him back and made him a good offer on it. So they wind up moving back in it, and he's only got 2 more years to pay it off. But still, it's not going to do him no good with that neighborhood. As it is the first neighborhood with the homeowners association that I've seen that's a Section 8. It don't make a bit of sense. I told him he lived in the projects. Because anybody that lives in a neighborhood where you got an association that tell you what you can't plant, what you can't put in your yard, that's a project. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was. It was, Ben, man. It was a real big scheme. Real big scheme. I told my brother, I told him when he was getting ready to buy that place, heck, he had a brand new 4 bedroom modular home on a 2 acre piece of property out in the country, and he wishes today, now that he started air conditioning business, that he still had that place. And I told him, I said, man, I said, just sit on it for 6 months. I said, sit on it for 6 months, and I said, I'm telling you, this market's going to drop, and I said, y'all going to be stuck in that house and get screwed. Well, he wound up calling, after he sold that place and got into that place, he wound up calling me a year and a half later. He goes, man, he goes, I don't want to tell you this, but you were right. And I said, I told you so. And that's it, Ben. That's what hurt the market. Yeah, and down there in Florida, when they came down there in Florida to do all that, they pushed that eminent domain law like crazy and shoved a bunch of people and a bunch of farmers off their property. And it was really sickening. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I went back down there February last year, clean out my grandmother's house where she had passed away. And all right, Runs. I hope he's fine, hon. Hurry up and get out there. Yeah, and that's it, Ben. That's it. It's like my wife before we moved up here. She was working for Black and Decker, and they give her a 401k, and I said, don't do it. I said, take your money, put it in a CD, or invest it into a money market. I said, do not use the 401k. And I said, cause all it is they buy stock. And I said, and the stock that's listed on this piece of paper is very, very iffy. And I said, you'll wind up losing your money. And that's it. And that's really it. My brother, his air conditioning company, has gotten really, really popular down in Florida and everything. And they keep somebody keeps calling him, asking him to invest into a stock and everything where people can buy stock in his company and stuff like that. And he goes, I'm not that stupid. who else is on? Yeah, and that's just it. That you got that right, 100%, Ben. You got it right. Yeah, you invest in what they've got money in. They've got a big jump up, and as soon as that jump up comes, they'll sell, and then the market drops, and then you're screwed. Kevin, you ain't right. You're lucky you're not in North Carolina because you'd get shot. I'm talking to Ben, Kevin, and Great American Prospect.
Green.
No, I'm using this in the stream on, but the words come across so small you can't read it. So I pulled this one up where I can see it. Hey, fellas. There's my better half. Her name's Carrie. Say hi, hun. Wave hi to him.
Top of your head kind of goes some light up there, don't it?
Oh, here we go with the bald jokes from her.
Get out of the room.
They said evening to you.
Evening.
Yeah. She said thank you. Evening to y'all too. Some bright shining off the top of my head, so she had to walk out. I was blinding her. Well, fellas, it's almost been 1 hour. I'm going to go ahead and shut this down for the night. I'll catch y'all out there on the other chats later. We're going to get dinner going here and sit back and watch a little TV together. And I'm going to tear in that homemade banana pudding I made today. The Great American, Ben, Kevin, anybody out there that's left, y'all have a wonderful night, and maybe we'll catch you later on a later stream. Thanks for coming in, guys. Yeah, it's 7:30 here, a little past dinner time. Kevin said hello, Carrie.
Who?
Kevin. No, Lafice. She said hi. You guys have a good night. We'll catch y'all later on. Okay, I have to close this daggum thing out now.